Hello friends. People born on September 28 stand at a fascinating intersection of cosmic energies. Their date of birth carries the refined elegance of Libra, yet behind the graceful balance lies an intensity of purpose that's anything but passive. Let's dive deep into the world of those who entered life on this day, through astrology, numerology, the Druid's wisdom, Vedic traditions, and even symbolic associations like flowers, stones, and colors. You're about to see why September 28th is far more than just another autumn day. Love and romance. To love someone born on September 28th is to step into a story that feels both timeless and surprising, a romance that unfolds with chapters of elegance, passion, and constant discovery. These individuals carry within them the unmistakable glow of Libra, magnetic charm, an appreciation for beauty, and an effortless way of making others feel seen and valued. When they walk into a room, there's something in their presence that makes people pause. Perhaps it's the grace in their gestures, or the softness in their smile, or that quiet but captivating confidence that hints at hidden layers beneath the surface. Love with them never begins loudly. It begins with subtle sparks, gentle laughter, curious questions, and an attentiveness that makes you feel like the only person in the world. But here's where their romance becomes extraordinary. Beneath that polished Libra exterior lies a heart that refuses to settle for ordinary. They aren't satisfied with a love that's predictable or shallow. They want fire. They want depth. They want the kind of connection that stretches across the mind and the soul as much as it does the body. For them, love is a living art form, something to be shaped, explored, nurtured, and reimagined over time. If their partner is content with surface-level affection, they'll sense it immediately and begin to pull away. They crave relationships where conversations run until dawn, where laughter is as abundant as passion, where both people push each other to dream bigger and live more fully. Their romantic style is like a dance, graceful, sometimes measured, but always infused with rhythm and intensity. They know when to be soft, when to lead, when to follow, and when to let passion sweep them away. One moment they can be the perfect listener, offering calm and understanding, and the next they become electric, pulling their partner into adventures, surprises, and bursts of playful spontaneity. In love, they're artists, constantly blending tenderness with excitement, stability with surprise. Yet, being in love with them requires courage. They will not tolerate stagnation or indifference. Boredom is, to them, the silent killer of romance. A partner who stops growing, who stops being curious, who stops investing energy into the relationship will quickly lose their interest. They thrive on freshness, on evolution, on the promise that tomorrow's love will be even deeper and richer than today's. For this reason, they are often drawn to partners who are independent, ambitious, and imaginative. They want someone who can stand beside them as an equal, not someone who depends on them for direction or validation. At their best, September 28th lovers bring light into their partner's world. They're affectionate in small, thoughtful ways. The unexpected note tucked into a bag, the meaningful glance across a crowded room, the shared joke no one else understands. But they're also intense in their demands. They expect honesty, loyalty, and emotional openness. They can forgive flaws, but they cannot forgive apathy. Their ultimate goal in love is to experience a relationship that feels alive every single day, one that carries both serenity and storm, harmony and sparks. When they find that, they give everything: devotion, passion, creativity, and unwavering commitment. And now, a little side note. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a thanks button right under this video, or through the donation alerts link in the description. Your support truly helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's continue. Marriage. When a September 28th soul enters marriage, they do so with reverence, hope, and an inner vision that goes far beyond the idea of simple companionship. For them, marriage is not just a social contract, not merely a tradition to follow, but a sacred journey, one in which two individuals agree to evolve together, side by side, through every stage of life. They see marriage as an alliance, a creative partnership, an arena where love deepens, dreams expand, and two separate lives intertwine to create a new and stronger whole. Unlike some, they do not marry for security alone. They marry for meaning, for inspiration, for the possibility of growth. Their dream is a union where equality reigns, where decisions are shared, and where mutual respect forms the foundation of everything. They want a marriage in which both partners bring their strengths and vulnerabilities to the table, supporting each other not just in the sunshine but through storms as well. The Libra in them craves balance, fairness, and harmony, while the numerological vibration of their birth date pushes them toward leadership and initiative. This creates a fascinating dynamic. They want to build a partnership of equals, yet they often take the lead in setting the tone for how love should be nurtured within the marriage. Still, marriage for them is not without challenges. Their perfectionist streak can sometimes cast a shadow over their union. They have a tendency to create an idealized image of what marriage should look like, and when reality inevitably deviates from that picture, they may feel restless or disappointed. They notice every detail, the forgotten gesture, the small imbalance, the unspoken words, and sometimes interpret these as signs of deeper issues. This can make them overly critical, both of themselves and their partner. Their task is to learn that true marital happiness doesn't come from perfection but from authenticity, the willingness to accept flaws, to forgive, and to love even when things are messy or difficult. Yet, when they embrace this lesson, they become exceptional life partners. Their marriages are infused with creativity and beauty. They have a natural gift for transforming a house into a home filled with warmth and harmony. They value rituals, celebrating anniversaries with care, creating traditions that strengthen their bond, and finding joy in small daily acts of togetherness. Their sense of romance never dies, even after many years. They are the kind of spouses who will still plan surprise getaways, write heartfelt notes, or initiate deep conversations long after the honeymoon phase has passed. In marriage, they seek not only love but also inspiration. They want their partner to be a mirror of their own ambition and dreams, someone who challenges them to grow, who encourages them to stretch beyond comfort zones, and who believes in building a shared vision of the future. When they find that kind of partnership, they are deeply loyal, unwavering in their devotion, and capable of building a marriage that lasts a lifetime. To be married to a September 28 native is to be invited into a journey of transformation. It means accepting not only their charm and passion but also their restlessness, their intensity, and their desire for constant evolution. They will not allow the marriage to grow stale. They will always push for growth, exploration, and renewal. For some, this might feel demanding, but for the right partner, it is exhilarating. Together, they create a union that feels alive, resilient, and full of purpose. For them, marriage is not the end of romance. It is the beginning of the greatest adventure, one that becomes richer, deeper, and more profound with every passing year. Sex and intimacy. For those born on September 28, sexuality is not a side note in life. It is a core expression of who they are, an extension of their creativity, their emotional depth, and their relentless pursuit of meaningful connection. They carry within them the elegance and refinement of Libra, a sign naturally attuned to beauty, sensuality, and harmony, but their numerological vibration, derived from the powerful number 1, adds something rare: boldness, intensity, and the desire to lead in matters of passion. This combination creates a unique energy, one that is both irresistibly romantic and unapologetically commanding. To be intimate with them is to experience a fusion of art and fire, a delicate dance that shifts seamlessly from tenderness to intensity, from softness to exhilarating force. They view sex as something sacred, far beyond physical mechanics. For them, it is not simply about release or pleasure. It is about union, communication, and transformation. Every touch, every glance, every sigh carries meaning. They believe that in the act of intimacy, two souls have the chance to dissolve barriers, to step into one another's inner worlds, and to create an energy that is greater than the sum of its parts. Sex, in their eyes, is a language, sometimes playful and teasing, sometimes deep and reverent, but always layered with intention. They are often compared to artists when it comes to intimacy. Every encounter is crafted, nuanced, and colored with emotional hues that make the moment unforgettable. Because they are natural seekers of growth, September 28 individuals cannot remain satisfied with routine or predictability in the bedroom. They thrive on exploration and are always eager to uncover new dimensions of desire, both in themselves and in their partner. They appreciate partners who are curious, open-minded, and unafraid to experiment. For them, sex can be playful and lighthearted, filled with laughter and spontaneity, or it can be profound and transformative, leaving both partners changed on some level. They are capable of both extremes, and often they want both. To them, intimacy is not static. It is alive, breathing, evolving, just as love itself is. Their sensuality is not only physical but also intellectual and emotional. They are deeply turned on by intelligence, wit, and originality. A clever word, a meaningful conversation, or a surprising idea can be as seductive to them as physical touch. They need to feel mentally stimulated and emotionally secure before they can surrender fully in intimacy. Without these elements, sex can feel hollow to them, no matter how technically satisfying. They want the complete experience, mind, body, and soul working in harmony. One of their most striking qualities is their ability to adapt to their partner's energy while also guiding the experience with confidence. They can sense what their partner needs, whether it's gentleness, intensity, playfulness, or depth, and they know how to provide it while still asserting their own desires. This duality, of giving and leading, of receiving and commanding, makes them extraordinary lovers. Their partners often feel not just desired, but celebrated, cherished, and transformed by the connection. However, the depth of their passion can also carry challenges. Their intensity means they cannot tolerate superficial or mechanical intimacy. If their partner treats sex as a chore or a mere physical act, they will quickly lose interest. They need to feel that their partner is present, engaged, and equally invested in creating a shared experience. They are also prone to restlessness if their intimacy becomes repetitive. For them, monotony is almost unbearable, and they may withdraw emotionally or even physically if they feel their needs for growth and novelty are unmet. Their challenge is to communicate openly about these desires rather than expecting their partner to simply know what they crave. When they find the right partner, one who approaches intimacy with imagination, honesty, and openness, their potential is limitless. They are capable of creating relationships where physical love becomes a form of spiritual awakening, where sex deepens emotional bonds and fuels mutual growth. With them, intimacy is not just about pleasure. It is about connection, transformation, and the shared journey of two souls daring to explore the heights and depths of love's most intimate expression. Friendship. For those born on September 28, friendship is not casual, it is foundational. While they may appear outgoing, surrounded by people drawn to their charm and magnetic energy, they hold a deep and selective understanding of what true friendship means. On the surface, they are lively, fun-loving, and effortlessly social. They know how to make everyone in the room feel included, to smooth over awkward silences, and to diffuse tension with their natural diplomacy. People often see them as the glue in a group, the one who bridges divides and keeps the circle intact. But behind this wide network of acquaintances lies a much smaller, carefully chosen inner circle, one that they guard with quiet intensity. They take friendship seriously. To them, a friend is not just someone to share laughs with but someone to trust with vulnerabilities, dreams, and truths that may never be spoken aloud to others. Their loyalty runs deep, and when they call someone a friend, it is with full intention. They are the kind of people who show up when it matters most, who will listen for hours when you need to be heard, and who will stand by you in storms as well as in sunshine. Many who know them describe them as dependable, someone you can call at 3 in the morning and know they will answer. Yet, despite this loyalty, their friendships are never static. They seek friends who, like them, are curious, adventurous, and constantly evolving. A stagnant friendship, where growth has ceased or conversations remain shallow, cannot hold their interest for long. They need friends who challenge their ideas, who inspire them to see the world differently, and who aren't afraid to go on wild adventures, whether that's traveling to a new city, starting a creative project, or simply diving into long, late-night conversations that stretch until dawn. With the right friends, they are spontaneous, unpredictable, and brimming with ideas that turn ordinary days into memorable stories. Still, their diplomacy can sometimes mask their true feelings. Because they dislike conflict, they may avoid addressing problems in friendships directly, preferring instead to smooth things over or maintain harmony at the cost of honesty. This can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or unspoken resentments. They must learn that real friendship can withstand uncomfortable truths, and that authenticity matters more than superficial peace. When they master this, their friendships become even stronger, deep bonds built on trust, respect, and the courage to be real. They are often the friends who bring people together, introducing acquaintances, hosting gatherings, or sparking collaborations. Their gift lies in creating communities, not just connections. Yet, within these larger groups, they hold their closest friends in almost sacred regard, treating them like chosen family. Their ability to balance wide social circles with intimate, lasting bonds is part of what makes them so unique. In the end, to be a friend of someone born on September 28th is to be embraced by loyalty, enriched by laughter, and challenged by their restless curiosity. It is to have someone in your life who will celebrate your victories with genuine joy, comfort you in losses without judgment, and push you to grow when you feel stuck. Their friendships are dynamic, alive, and enduring, often leaving those lucky enough to be close to them with the sense that they have gained not just a friend, but a partner in the great adventure of life. Business and career. When we turn to the professional world of those born on September 28th, we find individuals who are not only ambitious but deeply visionary in how they approach their careers. To them, work is not just about earning a living, it is about creating impact, about weaving their talents into something meaningful, and about shaping environments where creativity and fairness can thrive together. They bring with them the unmistakable energy of Libra, balance, diplomacy, and an innate sense of aesthetics, yet this is amplified by the numerological influence of the number 1, which bestows them with independence, initiative, and an undeniable urge to lead. What emerges is a personality perfectly suited to roles that combine artistry with responsibility, diplomacy with innovation, and vision with execution. These individuals are naturally drawn to careers where they can express both beauty and authority. One might find them excelling in design or architecture, where their eye for balance and harmony can be translated into physical spaces that inspire. Others may gravitate toward the legal world, not because they crave conflict, but because they have an almost instinctual drive to create fairness, to mediate disputes, and to ensure justice is served. They may shine in media, entertainment, or the arts, where their charisma and creativity allow them to connect with audiences and influence culture. Or they might pursue diplomacy and international relations, where their talent for negotiation and their ability to see multiple sides of an issue make them invaluable peacemakers. Their greatest strength in business is their ability to hold both vision and detail at once. They can step back and see the larger picture, the future of an organization, the ultimate goal of a project. At the same time, they have an eye for refinement, noticing the subtle adjustments that can turn something from good to extraordinary. This duality makes them remarkable leaders, because they inspire teams with big dreams while also ensuring that the execution feels thoughtful, polished, and balanced. But their journey in career is not without challenges. Libra is a sign known for weighing all options, for hesitating on decisions, for fearing the wrong choice. September 28th natives, despite their boldness, are not immune to this. At times, their brilliance can be dimmed by indecision, by overanalyzing every possible path until opportunities slip away. This is where their numerological vibration of 1 becomes vital. They must lean into that inner voice of courage and initiative, trusting themselves to take action rather than waiting for absolute certainty. Once they learn to combine Libra's diplomacy with the number 1's decisiveness, they become unstoppable forces, leaders who know not only what is right but how to move forward with conviction. Their relationships in the workplace are often harmonious. They dislike unnecessary conflict and are skilled at mediating disputes, making them valuable in team settings. Colleagues often describe them as fair, approachable, and inspiring, yet with a quiet authority that commands respect. Still, their charm should not be mistaken for softness. When pushed, they can be surprisingly firm, even unyielding, particularly when fairness or integrity is at stake. Money and success tend to flow to them when they are aligned with their higher purpose. If they chase careers solely for wealth or status, they may feel unfulfilled. But when they follow paths that allow them to merge their creativity with leadership, abundance follows naturally. Many September 28 individuals also have a strong entrepreneurial streak. They may not be content working under others forever, preferring instead to build something of their own, a business, a brand, or a vision that carries their unique stamp. Ultimately, their career path is about more than personal achievement. These natives have the capacity to uplift those around them. They are not the kind of leaders who thrive by pushing others down. Rather, they succeed by raising others up, by inspiring teams, and by showing that ambition and compassion can coexist. When they find their balance between decisive leadership and creative vision, their careers often leave behind a lasting legacy. Dark sides. No soul is without shadows, and for those born on September 28, the darker aspects of their personality often revolve around their pursuit of beauty, balance, and control. At their best, these qualities make them visionaries, people who create harmony and inspire others to greatness. But when distorted or unchecked, they can turn into traits that weigh heavily on themselves and those around them. One of their most prominent shadows is vanity. With their refined eye and natural charm, they often place high value on appearances, both their own and the environments around them. They can become overly focused on surface beauty, neglecting the deeper substance beneath. In relationships, this might make them critical of partners who don't meet their aesthetic ideals. In work, it may lead them to obsess over perfection at the cost of progress. Vanity can blind them, making them forget that true beauty is found not in flawless appearances but in authenticity and depth. Another shadow lies in impatience. While Libra is often thought of as calm and balanced, September 28 natives carry the added intensity of their numerological vibration. They want results, and they want them now. When life does not move at their desired pace, they can grow restless, irritable, or dismissive of others who cannot keep up. Their impatience sometimes drives them to make rash decisions, undermining the very harmony they crave. Over-control is another theme in their darker side. Because they have such a strong vision for how things should be, how love should feel, how work should be executed, how people should behave, they can slip into micromanaging or manipulation. Instead of allowing events to unfold organically, they might try to bend situations or people to fit their ideal. This desire for control often comes from fear that without their influence, balance will collapse. Yet ironically, their control can create the very disharmony they wish to avoid. They also carry the risk of emotional detachment. For all their warmth and charm, they sometimes retreat into coldness when they feel misunderstood or unappreciated. Rather than confront conflict directly, they may withdraw, creating distance and silence. In their worst moments, they may even manipulate situations to maintain the illusion of harmony instead of addressing the truth. This avoidance of conflict might preserve peace on the surface, but it can erode trust underneath. Yet here is the gift: every shadow contains the seed of growth. Their vanity, when tempered, becomes discernment, the ability to recognize beauty not only in appearances but in ideas, actions, and the soul. Their impatience, when refined, becomes drive and ambition, the fire that propels them forward when others might stall. Their need for control, when channeled wisely, becomes visionary leadership, a capacity to guide and inspire without domination. Even their emotional detachment has a higher purpose. It teaches them to create balance between closeness and independence, to honor both intimacy and personal space. The challenge for September 28 individuals is not to deny their shadows but to integrate them. To see vanity as the reminder to value authenticity. To see impatience as the call to practice patience. To see control as the lesson in trust. To see detachment as the opportunity to embrace vulnerability. In doing so, they transform their weaknesses into strengths, creating a life where their light shines not in spite of their shadows but because they have learned to carry both with grace. Life goals. For those born on September 28, life is not meant to be lived on the surface. Their journey is one of depth, of creating meaning, and of shaping environments where beauty, fairness, and growth exist side by side. At the very core of their being lies the Libran desire for balance, that deep instinct to harmonize the world around them. But their numerological vibration, the number 1, adds a layer of drive that pushes them not only to dream of harmony but to actively build it. This blend makes their life goals broader than mere personal comfort. They are driven by the need to impact others, to leave something behind that is lasting, purposeful, and inspiring. They are rarely satisfied with simply living well. They want to live significantly. For them, this significance often manifests through careers or projects that allow them to shape culture or community. Many are drawn to art, because through art they can express beauty and truth simultaneously. Others are drawn to social causes, because injustice deeply unsettles them, and they cannot rest until they see progress toward fairness. Still others find their calling in education or mentorship, passing on wisdom and encouraging others to find their own balance and voice. The vision guiding their life goals is not limited to personal achievement. They want to prove, through their choices, their relationships, their creations, that love and justice can coexist. They have an instinctive understanding that beauty without fairness is empty, and justice without compassion can be cold. Thus, their mission is to weave the two into every aspect of their lives. Whether it is in how they run a business, how they raise a family, or how they interact with strangers, they are constantly measuring their actions against the ideal of balance and impact. On a personal level, their goals often involve cultivating environments of peace and inspiration. They want homes filled with warmth, creativity, and shared love. They want friendships that are genuine, deep, and reciprocal. They want relationships where both partners are free to grow and shine. They measure their personal success not only in what they have but in how others feel in their presence. When people leave them feeling calmer, stronger, or more inspired, they consider that a victory greater than wealth or status. Yet, their journey toward these goals is rarely smooth. They wrestle with perfectionism, often imagining life in terms of ideals that reality struggles to match. They must learn that impact does not come from creating flawless conditions but from showing courage in imperfect ones. Their greatest triumphs are often born from moments when they embraced flaws and chose to act anyway. This resilience, this ability to persist despite setbacks, is what allows them to eventually achieve their goals. Ultimately, what drives those born on September 28 is the desire to build a legacy. Not necessarily a legacy carved into monuments or history books, but a legacy written into the hearts and lives of those they touch. They want to be remembered as someone who inspired fairness, who made the world more beautiful, who lifted others with kindness while never compromising on justice. For them, the truest life goal is not about fame or fortune. It is about creating ripples of balance that continue long after they are gone. Compatibility with other zodiac signs. In relationships, compatibility is rarely about surface similarities. For September 28 individuals, it is about energy, about whether another sign can match their rhythm, fuel their curiosity, and stand beside them in their pursuit of harmony and growth. Their Libran charm and sense of fairness attract many, but only certain signs can truly keep pace with both their light and their intensity. Their best matches are often found with Gemini, Aquarius, Leo, and Sagittarius. Gemini delights them with wit, curiosity, and endless conversation. Together, these two create a relationship where ideas flow like rivers, and boredom never dares to enter the picture. Aquarius intrigues them with vision and independence, giving them both the stimulation of shared ideals and the comfort of mutual respect for personal space. Leo, with its fire and charisma, matches their love of passion and grandeur, creating a partnership that feels both royal and radiant. Sagittarius fuels their adventurous side, inspiring them to step beyond comfort zones and embrace life as a journey filled with exploration and discovery. With these signs, September 28 natives feel energized, inspired, and deeply alive. But not all matches are effortless. Cancer and Capricorn often challenge their energy. Cancer, with its deep sensitivity and need for emotional security, may find them too restless or idealistic, too unwilling to settle into the kind of nurturing routines Cancer craves. Capricorn, on the other hand, may see them as impractical dreamers, chasing balance and beauty while ignoring the harder, colder realities of life. These matches are not impossible, but they demand patience, compromise, and a willingness to see the world through very different lenses. For the September 28th individual, the challenge in these pairings is learning to soften their restlessness and to value the stability and grounding that Cancer and Capricorn bring, even if it feels confining at times. And then there is the secret attraction, Pisces. On the surface, Libra and Pisces may seem worlds apart. One thrives on air and balance, the other swims in water and emotion. Yet, for September 28th natives, Pisces' emotional depth is magnetic. They are fascinated by Pisces' ability to feel so profoundly, to dream so vividly, to live in a world where intuition rules. Meanwhile, Pisces finds in them the balance and clarity that often eludes their watery, shifting nature. The connection between these two can be both intoxicating and confusing, but it is undeniably powerful, a pull that defies logic. In the end, compatibility for September 28th is less about astrology alone and more about whether their partner can embrace both sides of their soul, their need for beauty and their hunger for growth, their longing for harmony and their spark of fire. They thrive with partners who can inspire them without trying to control them, who can challenge them without breaking their spirit, and who can stand by them in both the stillness and the storms. When they find such a partner, regardless of sign, their love becomes not just a relationship but a journey of balance, inspiration, and shared transformation. Numerology of September 28th. The numerological signature of September 28th is one of striking individuality and quiet authority. Add the digits together, 2 and 8, and you arrive at 10, which further reduces to 1. This vibration of 1 holds enormous symbolic weight in numerology. It represents beginnings, leadership, originality, courage, and the ability to carve a path where none existed before. For those born on this day, the number 1 serves as both a compass and a challenge. It points them toward lives of independence, self-determination, and trailblazing achievement, but it also demands that they learn to balance this fierce drive with the Libran qualities of fairness, diplomacy, and partnership. The influence of the number 1 can be seen in their natural tendency to step into leadership roles, whether formally or informally. These are the individuals others look to when decisions need to be made, when direction must be set, or when someone must be willing to take a risk that others fear. Unlike the heavy-handed leaders who thrive on dominance, those born on September 28th often shine through subtle authority. They lead with presence rather than pressure, with confidence rather than coercion. When balanced, they embody the rare blend of strength and grace, firm enough to inspire respect, yet diplomatic enough to maintain harmony. Yet, this 1 vibration is not without its trials. The energy of independence means that these natives often feel an inner restlessness, a hunger to create their own path, their own vision, their own destiny. They bristle at constraints and grow uneasy in situations where they feel overly controlled or boxed in. Even in committed relationships, they crave a sense of freedom, of autonomy that allows them to express themselves fully. For partners and colleagues, understanding this need is essential. Without it, the September 28th individual may pull away or rebel, not out of rejection but out of a profound inner need to honor their independence. The interplay of Libra and the number 1 is what makes these individuals so distinctive. Libra longs for balance, for harmony, for cooperation, while the number 1 demands individuality, self-expression, and trailblazing. At first, this can feel like an internal tug of war. Do they choose partnership or independence? Harmony or leadership? Conformity or originality? But when they master this dynamic, they create magic. They learn how to be leaders without arrogance, how to be independent without isolation, and how to bring balance to teams or relationships without losing themselves in the process. The 1 vibration also bestows resilience. These people are rarely defeated for long. Even when life knocks them down, they have an inner fire that pushes them to rise again, stronger, wiser, and more determined. Obstacles are not merely challenges to them, they are opportunities to prove their originality and courage. Their personal stories often contain moments of reinvention, periods where they left behind old roles or expectations to forge a new identity, a new career, or a new chapter of life. Creativity is another gift of their numerology. While the number 1 is often associated with leadership, it is also the number of the pioneer, the innovator, the creator. September 28 individuals often feel compelled to bring something new into the world, whether it is art, ideas, businesses, or movements. Their originality is not limited to one field. It can show up in the way they dress, the way they speak, the way they approach problems, or the way they design their lives. They do not follow trends, they set them. At times, the intensity of the number 1 can lead to challenges in relationships. Their need for independence can be misunderstood as detachment, and their boldness can be perceived as stubbornness. But at the heart of it, they are not rejecting closeness, they are simply protecting their core identity. They thrive when surrounded by people who understand that love and freedom are not contradictions but complements. Ultimately, the numerology of September 28 tells a story of individuals who are here to blaze trails and inspire others. They are not meant to live lives of quiet conformity. Their mission is to show that leadership can be graceful, that independence can coexist with love, and that originality is not a threat to harmony but its perfect complement. The Druid's horoscope. Within the Celtic or Druidic tree horoscope, those born on September 28 fall under the influence of the hazel tree. Hazel is a symbol of wisdom, intuition, and inspiration, carrying with it a reputation as one of the most magical trees in ancient Celtic lore. The Celts believed the hazel tree was sacred to poets, seers, and scholars, representing not only knowledge but the spark of creativity that allows knowledge to become something transformative. To be born under hazel is to be gifted with a mind that sees beyond the obvious. September 28 individuals often have an uncanny ability to connect dots others miss. They pick up on patterns, undercurrents, and hidden truths, weaving together insights that can feel almost mystical in their accuracy. People are often struck by their intellectual charisma, not just by what they know but by how they express it, with clarity, elegance, and often an artistic flair. Hazel's influence also blesses them with an artistic soul. These individuals are often drawn to writing, music, visual arts, or any field where imagination meets structure. They do not create for vanity alone, they create to express truth, to inspire others, and to bring beauty into the world. Their art, or their ideas, if they are not artists in the traditional sense, carries a depth that lingers with those who encounter it. It is not superficial beauty, it is beauty infused with meaning. Intuition is another powerful gift of hazel. September 28 natives often have moments of knowing, without being able to explain why. They trust gut feelings that later prove accurate. This intuition allows them to navigate complex situations with surprising grace, sensing where harmony can be restored or where imbalance threatens to grow. When they combine this intuition with their natural diplomacy, they become powerful mediators, advisors, or creators of systems that work for everyone involved. The mystical undertones of hazel energy add a layer of depth to their personalities. Even the most practical among them carry an air of the mysterious, a sense that they are connected to something larger than themselves. People may find themselves drawn to them without fully understanding why, captivated by the blend of intellect and magic that seems to radiate from their presence. However, hazel also demands responsibility. With great wisdom and intuition comes the temptation to manipulate or to wield knowledge for personal gain. September 28 individuals must be cautious not to use their insight to control others or to hide behind their intellect when emotions feel overwhelming. When they embrace humility, hazel's energy becomes a force of light, guiding them to use their gifts for the benefit of all. For these individuals, the hazel tree symbolizes not just what they are but what they are called to become: wise leaders, inspired creators, and visionaries who bring unseen connections into the light. It intensifies their natural Libran qualities of harmony and balance, infuses their numerological leadership with depth and vision, and ensures that their impact on the world is not only practical but profoundly meaningful. Vedic Astrology View. In Vedic astrology, the placement of the moon at the time of birth carries extraordinary weight, and for those born on September 28, the lunar position often aligns with Chitra Nakshatra, depending on the year and exact time. Chitra, whose symbol is the shining jewel or bright pearl, is one of the most fascinating nakshatras in the Vedic system. Ruled by Mars Mangala, it imbues natives with a fiery, creative, and magnetic energy that stands in beautiful contrast to Libra's air element diplomacy. Chitra is about brilliance, literally, the light that catches the eye and holds attention. For September 28 individuals, this means their lives are shaped by an inner need to craft something luminous, something that will endure like a jewel through the shifting sands of time. The jewel imagery of Chitra is more than symbolic, it reveals the dual nature of those born under its influence. Just as a gemstone must be cut and polished to reveal its brilliance, so too do these individuals undergo challenges and transformations that refine their talents and character. They are not afraid of work, of discipline, of chiseling away at themselves until their true brilliance shines forth. For them, beauty is not just external but is something created through effort, intention, and perseverance. They embody artistry in everything they do, whether in how they build careers, nurture relationships, or design their personal spaces. Mars as the ruling planet of Chitra adds determination and ambition to their Libran gentleness. Mars gives them courage, decisiveness, and the ability to fight for what they believe in. Yet, unlike those ruled solely by Mars, the Libra-born Chitra natives temper that fire with grace, turning raw ambition into artistic construction, and raw passion into refined creativity. They are warriors of beauty, individuals who wage their battles not through destruction but through creation, by leaving behind works, ideas, or legacies that continue to sparkle long after they are gone. Chitra also fosters a deep desire to be remembered. Those born on September 28 often feel a pull to create something lasting, a career achievement that outshines their peers, an artistic body of work that continues to inspire, or a reputation that glows in memory like a gem passed through generations. This desire for permanence can sometimes make them restless, feeling that ordinary accomplishments are not enough. They want their lives to matter in ways that endure. They are seekers of immortality, not necessarily through fame but through impact. On the personal level, Chitra grants them an undeniable allure. They radiate a magnetic energy that others cannot easily ignore. Their presence often sparkles, whether through physical beauty, charm, or the glow of their creativity. People are drawn to them instinctively, as if sensing the jewel-like essence they carry. This can be both a gift and a challenge, as their magnetism attracts admirers but also stirs envy. The responsibility of Chitra natives is to use this magnetism wisely, to inspire rather than manipulate, to guide rather than dominate. Spiritually, Chitra represents the bridge between illusion and truth. For September 28 individuals, this means a lifelong journey of peeling back appearances to uncover essence. They may begin life captivated by external beauty, fashion, aesthetics, status symbols, but as they grow, they learn that true beauty comes from alignment with purpose and truth. When they embrace this lesson, they become luminous not only in appearance but in spirit, radiating authenticity that inspires all who meet them. The combination of Libra and Chitra is particularly powerful. Libra seeks balance, fairness, and harmony, while Chitra seeks brilliance, creation, and permanence. Together, they produce individuals who want to leave the world not only more just but more beautiful. Their ambition is rarely selfish. It is tied to the desire to uplift, to adorn, to bring order and elegance to chaos. They are builders of legacies, artists of justice, and jewel-bearers of inspiration. In the Vedic view, those born on September 28 are encouraged to embrace both sides of their nature, the Mars-driven ambition and the Libra-driven diplomacy. When they do, they shine as leaders, creators, and visionaries who not only achieve greatness but also inspire others to recognize their own inner jewel. Flower Horoscope. The symbolic flower for September 28 is the aster, a delicate bloom that flourishes in late September, bringing bursts of color to autumn's fading days. Asters are not loud or flamboyant flowers like roses or lilies. Instead, they carry a quiet elegance, a star-like charm, and an enduring grace that mirrors the character of those born under their influence. The very name, aster, comes from the Greek word for star, and indeed, these blooms shine like tiny constellations in gardens, lighting up landscapes when much of summer's vibrancy has already faded. For September 28 natives, the aster is more than just a flower, it is a reflection of their soul's purpose. Just as asters bloom when the season shifts and days grow shorter, these individuals bring brightness and hope in transitional times. They often step into people's lives during moments of uncertainty, loss, or change, and their presence reassures, uplifts, and restores balance. They are reminders that beauty and wisdom are not confined to moments of abundance but can flourish even in seasons of decline. The qualities associated with the aster, wisdom, patience, and elegance, run deeply through their personalities. Wisdom comes from their ability to see situations from multiple angles, to weigh perspectives, and to seek fairness even in complexity. Patience is evident in the way they nurture relationships and projects, understanding that lasting results require time, effort, and consistency. And elegance shines in their style, demeanor, and the way they carry themselves, never forceful, never garish, but always with a sense of refinement that leaves an impression. The aster also symbolizes resilience. Though delicate in appearance, asters endure cold nights and the turning of seasons, thriving in conditions that other flowers cannot. Similarly, September 28 individuals possess an inner strength that often surprises those around them. They may appear gentle, diplomatic, and soft-spoken, but beneath lies a core of determination and resilience that enables them to withstand challenges and emerge even stronger. Spiritually, the aster is linked with the idea of guiding stars, of hope that leads travelers through darkness. This mirrors the role that September 28 natives often play in their communities and relationships. They become guides, consciously or unconsciously, helping others navigate life's uncertainties with kindness and wisdom. Their advice, their presence, or sometimes simply their example becomes a source of light for those around them. Another important quality of the aster is its association with love and remembrance. In folklore, asters were often placed on altars as offerings to the gods, symbolizing devotion and the eternal nature of love. For September 28 individuals, this translates into a capacity for deep, enduring affection. They love with elegance and loyalty, and their relationships often leave lasting impressions, even if circumstances change. The aster's colors also carry symbolic weight. Purple asters suggest wisdom and spirituality. Pink ones reflect gentle affection. White asters represent purity and innocence. This spectrum reflects the versatility of September 28 natives, who can embody many layers at once: intellectual depth, emotional warmth, and moral clarity. Ultimately, the aster reminds us of the September 28 individual's role in the larger story of life. They are stars blooming in autumn, voices of balance in chaos, and symbols of hope in times of change. Like their flower, they prove that elegance and resilience can coexist, that beauty can thrive even when seasons shift, and that true brightness is often revealed not in the height of summer but in the quiet, transitional spaces where wisdom grows. Stone horoscope. For those born on September 28, the stone that resonates most deeply with their soul is the sapphire, one of the most revered and mystical gemstones across cultures and centuries. Known for its mesmerizing deep blue brilliance, sapphire is not simply a jewel of beauty but a vessel of profound symbolism, truth, loyalty, and spiritual clarity. In ancient times, rulers and sages wore sapphires as symbols of divine favor, believing that the stone connected the earthly self to higher realms of wisdom. For September 28 natives, whose Libran hearts long for harmony and whose numerological vibration of 1 pushes them toward leadership, the sapphire acts as a perfect energetic companion, blending the pursuit of truth with the courage to act upon it. The sapphire's most striking quality is its ability to calm the storm of the mind. September 28 individuals often wrestle with perfectionism and indecision, two sides of the Libra struggle. They see possibilities from every angle, they sense beauty in every variation, and as a result, they sometimes hesitate, wanting to choose the most balanced, flawless path. The sapphire whispers a lesson. Clarity does not come from analyzing every option endlessly, but from aligning with truth. By wearing or meditating with sapphire, these individuals are reminded to trust their intuition, to listen to the quiet voice within that knows what balance looks like in practice, not just in theory. The stone also strengthens loyalty and integrity. September 28 natives value relationships deeply, but their restless, ambitious nature can sometimes pull them in many directions at once. Sapphire grounds them, teaching that true loyalty does not mean sacrificing individuality but bringing honesty, commitment, and presence into every bond. It resonates with their desire for partnerships that are both free and faithful, both adventurous and steady. When they wear sapphire, they often feel more anchored in their commitments without losing their sense of independence. Spiritually, sapphire heightens wisdom and aligns perfectly with their life purpose of justice, beauty, and fairness. This is not the wisdom of cold logic alone but wisdom infused with compassion, balance, and higher truth. It helps them discern when to compromise and when to stand firm, when to preserve harmony and when to risk conflict in service of justice. September 28 individuals often find themselves in positions where others look to them for guidance. With sapphire's energy, their words carry more weight, their decisions more clarity, and their leadership more grace. Sapphire is also said to guard against envy, lies, and negative thoughts. For September 28 souls, who are naturally magnetic and often the center of attention, this protection is invaluable. Their charm and brilliance can sometimes attract jealousy or hidden opposition. The sapphire creates a shield, deflecting negativity and keeping their aura clear, so they can continue their path without being weighed down by the shadows of others. Beyond its protective qualities, sapphire inspires creativity. Its blue light resonates with the throat chakra, enhancing communication, artistic expression, and the ability to share truth beautifully. For the September 28 native, who often carries the hazel tree's intellectual creativity from the Druidic horoscope and the Chitra nakshatra's jewel-like brilliance from the Vedic system, sapphire becomes not just a stone but a tool, a way of channeling their ideas into forms that inspire and endure. The lore surrounding sapphire speaks to their karmic journey as well. In many traditions, the stone was believed to test its wearer. Only those who lived in truth could retain its brilliance. To live dishonestly or stray from integrity was said to dim the stone's light. In the same way, September 28 individuals are constantly reminded that their true success, their true sparkle, comes not from shortcuts or illusions but from alignment with their highest values. Darker symbolism. Lessons from the shadow. Every birth date carries not just gifts but lessons, shadows that must be faced, challenges that must be mastered. For September 28, the shadow reveals itself in the dance between indecision and leadership. Libras scales are famous for weighing every possibility, for refusing to choose until the balance feels perfect. Combine this with the numerological 1, which pushes for leadership, and you get a soul caught between hesitation and action. The perfectionist in them waits for the flawless moment, the flawless partner, the flawless plan. But life rarely offers perfection, and so they risk missing opportunities, watching them slip away while waiting for balance that never fully arrives. The karmic lesson here is clear. Harmony is not the absence of conflict, nor is leadership the absence of mistakes. September 28 individuals must learn that true balance is dynamic, not static. It is something created in motion, not something preserved in stasis. By trusting their instincts, by acting even when not every variable is accounted for, they step into their power as leaders and creators. At their shadow's worst, they may manipulate situations in the name of keeping peace, avoiding confrontation even when it means denying their own truth. They may grow frustrated with themselves for not acting quickly enough, then overcompensate by making rash decisions. The pendulum swings between paralysis and impulsiveness. Yet each mistake is a lesson, each hesitation an opportunity to understand that leadership does not mean perfect timing or flawless execution. It means courage to step forward, clarity to own one's choices, and wisdom to adjust along the way. The darker symbolism of their path is that of the sapphire itself. Just as the stone reveals brilliance only when cut and polished, so too do September 28th souls reveal their true light when tested, pressured, and refined by challenge. Their shadows are not punishments but catalysts, forcing them to grow into the kind of leaders who can embrace imperfection, master conflict, and still create beauty and fairness in the world. When they learn to embrace this lesson, their shadows transform into strengths. Their indecision becomes discernment, their restlessness becomes drive, their longing for perfection becomes artistry, and their hesitations evolve into wisdom. The karmic truth for them is simple but profound. Balance is not found by waiting for life to hand it over, it is created by choosing, acting, and then adjusting with grace. In this way, the sapphire's symbolism and their karmic lesson converge. The stone of truth, loyalty, and clarity reflects their destiny, to live authentically, to lead with courage, and to sparkle not because they avoided darkness but because they mastered it. Final thoughts. So, who are the people of September 28th? They are charmers with brains, lovers with passion, friends with loyalty, and visionaries with ambition. Yet, they are also dreamers who must guard against vanity and indecision. They are here to build, to inspire, and to show us all how beauty and justice can dance together. Whether in love, work, or friendship, they leave unforgettable marks on everyone they meet. If you know someone born on September 28th, or if that's your own birthday, embrace the duality. You are both the artist and the leader, the lover and the thinker. The stars, numbers, trees, and stones all agree. You were born to create balance in a world that desperately needs it.